Hi, I'm Professor James Banal. I'm the faculty advisor to Rising Scholars, a student organization here at California State University of Long Beach dedicated to the advancement of the interests of our students who are formerly incarcerated and system impacted. We're making this video to say thank you to Meredith and all the folks at Trade Desk for their generous donation of $10,000. That money will go a long way towards helping us achieve our goals. And so you know this video will serve as a jumping off point as we're now involved in larger video projects that we hope to enter into some film festivals. So thank you again for having us do this. We had a lot of fun and we appreciate it.
My goal when I was a kid was to be a gangster, right? And that was my goal, my ultimate goal, and to go to prison. My name is Joe Luis Hernandez. I started drinking when I was 10. I started smoking weed when I was 12. I tried meth for the first time when I was 13, and by the time I was 14, I was smoking meth almost every day. Being young, I felt like I was always taken advantage of. And so at 10, this decision that I made is that I was never gonna let nobody take advantage of me. And so the people that I saw were gang members, and those people, nobody took advantage of them. And so I made a decision that I wanted to be a gang member, and I wanted to be hard, and I wanted to do as much and be as tough as I could. And so that's what I began, and that was my career from the age of 10 to 21. Like, I was always a good person at heart. I just wanted to do bad things. I never went to prison. I went to the county. The first time I was incarcerated, I was 18 or 19. We got caught with a gun. The second time that I was incarcerated, it was like 6 months later after I was released. It was for another gun.
Hi, my name is Irene Sotelo. I'm in the master's here at Cal State Long Beach. I'm a formerly incarcerated student who's been to prison. What led me to go to prison was I got addicted to drugs. I had cancer, got addicted to pain medication, ended up getting addicted to more drugs, heavier drugs. When I beat cancer, the drugs took me out. I ended up homeless under the riverbed, living under a tent. I chased the drug. I left my home of 19 years of a husband and my children. I started getting arrested because I started doing crimes for the drug. And I ended up going to the county where I got sentenced to 3 years to prison. In between the time I was in the county, I ended up suffering a stroke because of that was the damage that happened to me from the drugs. And when I was in prison, it was very rough because being paralyzed, left side, and having to do things on your own, no help from the outside, no support from nobody. My kids, I never got to see my kids the whole time I was there. I did 18 months. I did half of the 3 years that I did.
Hi, my name's Bridget. I'm a student at Cal State Long Beach in my senior year. So I started going to jail the first time about 19 years old. I had kind of mental health issues, which turned into drug addiction, which was like an immediate daily part of my life. And I kind of cycled in and out of the criminal justice system. It took me a couple years to really start going in steadily. You know, I was homeless a lot of that time. I was in a pretty horrific domestic violence relationship, and I encountered violence in other areas of my life. There's a lot of people would say that that we incarcerate trauma. So I would say just about every single woman that I was in jail with was traumatized, myself included. You know, the first time I spent a significant amount of time in jail, which was like about 7 months, after that point, I pretty much identified as a criminal.
My name is Taryn Williams, and I'm a student here at Cal State Long Beach, and I'm studying business administration and economics. I discharged parole about a year ago, and before that I had been incarcerated for a few years. I was arrested for 2 charges of armed robbery. I started using when I was 12. Hard drugs, I was doing meth, alcohol, whatever, and then when I turned 18 I got to heroin, and that was like the game changer for me. That was like, okay, like put the family aside, put education aside, like any hopes and dreams and aspirations I had, like I did not care anymore. And so that's when I really started committing like a lot of crimes.
Hi, I'm Dr. James Banal. I'm the faculty advisor to Rising Scholars, a student organization here at Cal State Long Beach. I have my own story. In 1999, I was involved in a DUI accident that claimed the life of my passenger, who was also my best friend. For that horrible decision, I spent 4 years, 1 month, and 6 days in 2 maximum security prisons. While I was in prison, I took my law school admissions test from my cell in October 2001. After taking that test, I applied to several law schools, was not accepted, or was accepted to all, but was not allowed to start at a number because I was an active state parolee.
Hi, my name is Adrian Vasquez. My past, I grew up in South Central Los Angeles in a marginalized community, mostly of African American Latinos. At the time, my parents came from Mexico. They wanted a better life. And so my dad was a landscaper. My mom was a homemaker. So basically from kindergarten to 12th grade, I went to Catholic school. They wanted something better in my life. They wanted a better outcome. Regardless of that, even though I was being provided a better quality of education inside a marginalized area, I was attracted more to the gang lifestyle because the culture was just embedded within the neighborhood. And I actually applied to Cal State Long Beach and CSUN at the time. Long Beach was the one that accepted me. I ended up going to Long Beach. And at the time, I wanted to become a police officer. For the reason wasn't for the right reasons. At the time, the police officers that were patrolling our area were always harassing us because we're different color, different skin, and he always thought everyone was just a gang member. I wanted to be actually a federal agent, which I felt at the time, which was kind of like twisted because I wanted to become a federal agent in order to say, hey, I have the badge, now I'm in power, I'm above you, so you can't tell me nothing. During 1994 comes around, I was dating my high school sweetheart. And for me, it's like the world fell on top of me. She said, I got a phone call and she said she was raped. Me and my friends went after the guy. We're supposed to beat him up. And unfortunately, this young man ended up dead. A month and a half later, we're looking at the death penalty. First time incarcerated, never been arrested, never had any charges before that. Time goes on, the death penalty, weren't looking at it. They were looking at life without. We went to trial in November 1995. Here I am at the age, turning 21 in trial, arrested at 19, turning 21 in trial, ended up with a life sentence. So I was sentenced to 16 years to life, even though I wasn't the shooter. And as a result, when we found out in trial, my girlfriend was never raped. She had a one-night stand and just lied about it.
When I started changing my life is when I got into recovery. I started seeing that I had a new purpose, and my purpose wasn't to hurt, but it was to help. When I was 28, I came back to school, and it's funny, right? Because I was afraid. We have an educational system that is not built for people like me, right? You know, it's funny, the more educated I get, the more I would say damned that I am as a Latino male born in poverty. Long Beach State University has this prestige, this aura. We're one of the best CSUs in the system. And so like, man, I felt out of place, and I felt like I didn't belong. When you think of a veteran, you think of a hero. When you think of someone that's been in jail, that's not the first thing that comes to your mind, right? You don't think of someone that goes to school. You don't think of someone that could get a graduate degree. You don't think of someone that's been getting the awards that we've been doing. You think of somebody that doesn't deserve his chance. This year I'll be a Sally Casanova pre-doctoral scholar, and that from my understanding, it's very prestigious, and it's very impactful for my educational career. And that as a Sally Casanova pre-doctoral scholar, I'm gonna be recruited to a PhD program based on my research.
I was released from prison in October 25th, 2009. Education was not one of my options, but then I figured, well, I can't work now that I have a felony on my record. So I decided to go back to school. I started community college. Once I started my classes, I didn't know what to do because I was saying I couldn't get a license if I did real estate, and that was one of my options I wanted. I couldn't do nursing because of a felony. So I just started taking classes, general ed, to see where I was going to be led. And finally I took my criminal justice class and realized that's where I got my first A. And after I got that first A, that did so much. It felt really good to achieve something. To me, that was really big. I pursued a associate's degree at Cerritos College with an AA degree with honors, the highest honors. And then From there, it was possible to transfer to try to do the bachelor's. And I changed my major while I was here. I was still criminal justice, but I did sociology because I think it's more broader for the things I want to do. And one of my passions right now is to help those who are formerly incarcerated that are getting out because of the laws that are changing, to help them get into education. Now that I'm in the grad, I got accepted, that which is a very hard program to get into for the master's, and I got in. So I think all the majors that I've taken is gonna lead me in the direction of where I want to go.
As soon as I got out of jail, I took the steps to go to a rehab and stop the drug use, which was like super important. I knew I wanted like a larger life, so I signed up for school immediately, and I would take the bus 4 hours a day, like to school and back from the rehab I was living at. So in junior college, I started to realize that I really liked school. I remembered like my interests, and I became a sociology major because I'm kind of like, despite everything throughout my life, I've always looked at how systems impact us on a personal level, but I still felt like an alien. Kind of at junior college. I felt like I didn't belong. I felt like I was really different. And it wasn't until I came to Cal State Long Beach and was a part of Rising Scholars that I really felt like not only did I belong here in school, but that my voice was needed here. I just got a big scholarship for like $4,350 from the Women in Philanthropy. Having a professor like Banal, who is formerly incarcerated and a lawyer, and you know, is incredibly dedicated to like helping us in our journeys and will help me do that, I want to go to law school.
When I got out of prison, I went into a treatment center and I met a guy, as usual, and I got pregnant with twins. When my twins turned about a year, I said, you know, I need to go back to school. I knew that I needed to go back to school if I ever wanted to provide a life for them. So I started going to Long Beach City College, and I went for 2 years. I went full time. I ended up getting really good grades. And so like as time progressed, I was like, wow, like maybe I really can be a student this time. So I applied to a few universities and I got the acceptance from Cal State, and I said, what the hell, I'll apply for the honors program. So I applied for the honors program and I ended up getting a President's Scholarship. And when I read the thing, it said it was like the most prestigious merit-based scholarship at Cal State Long Beach. And I looked at it and I just freaked out, right? Because I'm like, I'm a convict, I'm an ex-junkie, like I'm an foster youth. Like they can't possibly really mean that this opportunity is for me. So I got to Cal State Long Beach and like immediately was approached by Professor Banal, who had read a newspaper article about me, and he's like, you gotta come on board with Rising Scholars.
When I was released from prison, as a state parolee, I transferred my parole to California and began law school. Since that time, I've become a member of the California State Bar. I graduated from law school post-release. I achieved an LLM at Georgetown University Law Center and a PhD at University of California at Irvine. Education for me was something that I championed when I got out. It was something I relied on to better my life. And while my situation is unique, most of the students that are involved in this organization also have similar experiences. I think education is the most important thing in a person's life, and I encourage my students to sort of reach for the stars when it comes to education. It gave me what I always wanted, which was a professorship and the ability to give back and help others. And I firmly believe that it can do the same thing for them.
So I started getting involved in college courses. There was always embedded in me to take college courses in the sense that it was engraved from day one. Like I went to Catholic school when I was going to college, and it was something for me to escape the prison politics, because prison is a very volatile and highly violent atmosphere, and everything's gang structured. And I actually felt good. The first class I actually took was from Coastline Community College. I felt good. I got A's in both classes, and I felt productive. It gave me a sense of self-worth, and my parents were proud. People kind of like look down on you, like, hey, why are you taking college courses? You're not gonna go home anyways. I was granted parole date. I was actually released on February 25th, 2014, approximately 4 years and some change ago. And I still wanted to finish where I left off. I wanted to go back to Cal State Long Beach. I felt this was home. I felt this was a place to be. And I felt this was a sense of finishing a chapter I left open.
We started Rising Scholars 2.5 years ago with 3 remarkable students. Irene Sotelo is now a graduate student in the School of Social Work. At the time, she was an undergraduate in sociology. Adrian Vasquez, who was a student in sociology, recently graduated, and also Joe Luis Hernandez, who is a graduate student in the education department, who will soon graduate. They are remarkable individuals, remarkable students, even better people, and it was their efforts really that got Rising Scholars off the ground.
We chose Rising Scholars because it was because we were on our way up, right? Like we were all doing great things and we were all doing good in our respective majors, and so we started banding together, man, and we started creating a community for ourselves, man, and we started creating a place so that we could feel like we belong.
And we wanted to not only embrace people that were permanent cards, we want to embrace people who are in this field of work, who are interested in helping, who are interested in reaching out to people and bringing education, because reality, education crosses all barriers. It crosses socioeconomics, it crosses skin color, it crosses everything. That's one thing. And we created Rising Scholars.
We just recently received an award, which is for the Founders Award, which I was honored to get, and being recognized as the first founders here in Cal State Long Beach.
I love the fact that I know other people that have been incarcerated that come here to Long Beach, and we just want to get out there and we want to help as many people as we can. I want to be there for someone that was incarcerated. I want to be there for a student that doesn't feel like they can make it, and I want to support them. Hope. That's what it means to me, man. You know, students will come to our meeting or new people will come to our meeting, and then they'll hear our stories, and then they'll tell us like, man, like I didn't know there was anybody else like me here. Right? I specifically chose the field of counseling intentionally, student development and higher education, with the focus in higher education, because I could have probably gone into another field and done research on people that were incarcerated, but I wanted to do it from the perspective of I wanted to be a counselor. I wanted to help. I wanted to know what are the systems that I need to learn to navigate, right? And so Rising Scholars is an educational thing, right? And it shows that when students can see themselves represented on campus, that they'll feel more likely like they belong on campus.
I mean, I think it means community. I have a lot of like imposter feelings and feelings like I don't belong, and feelings, I failed so much in my life. Like, it has shown me that that I have a community here and that I belong here. I have people who believe in me, support me, and that, and that I can support and believe in. And, it makes me feel like I don't have to be afraid of my criminal background, that that is just a part of my story, and doesn't have to be something that derails my life or my plans.
I think Rising Scholars brings an opportunity to be around people with similar situations and to really be that person in the corner rooting for you, who really understands the struggles and the particular needs of that student, because there are so many things that come with being a formerly incarcerated person, that having that support system is paramount in being successful.
Rising Scholars means to me, it means the world to me as of right now, because it was something I'm part of, something I helped create, and something that is being recognized everywhere. I love all our members, the faculty advisors. We are getting really close, or my brothers and my sisters, and we do so much together now. And just being here at Cal State Long Beach with a student organization like this I'm proud.
For me, Rising Scholars have been a huge success in being able to transition back into society and helping other people, and those that want to get involved in this movement, getting involved that, hey, just because you make a mistake as a young person doesn't mean you should be challenged in such a gravitude that you're always going to be pointed to saying this is your past. No, your past doesn't always reflect who you are. Your past, you learn from your past, you move forward with that. And this to me, Rising Scholars.
What Rising Scholars does for students is it gives them a familiar environment on campus. It brings them together with other folks and other students who have experienced the criminal justice system, who understand the obstacles they face as a student who is formerly incarcerated or system impacted. I feel like the group works a little bit like an informal support group. We all talk about our experiences openly. We all understand the struggle. I am proud to be the faculty advisor of such a wonderful group.